Hello, welcome back to Cypress Automation. This is Sherful. In this lecture, we're going to learn the implementation of page object model in Cypress. In our last lecture, we have seen the page object model definition, the benefits. Now we're going to see how to implement page object model or pattern in Cypress Automation. Let's go. So as you know, from the page object model definition, it's like we'll have a separate class for each and every the page. So assume that this is our application, our testing application. So we in our this practice, we're going to choose two different page. One is practice page. You can see this is a practice page. Okay, so very bottom, this is a practice page, and then we'll go to our registration form. So what would be the scenario for our practice page, for this page? So in this page, we'll find out the title of this page, like automation practice. We're going to confirm that this is visible and the title is matched with this string, like automation practice. And then we're going to select a dynamic static drop down example. We'll select Selenium option and we'll confirm that, and then we'll type in a dynamic drop down, we'll type a country name, say Canada. So and then we'll select the Canada option. Okay, so that would be pretty much our use case or scenarios, test scenarios for this page. And from there, we'll move to our registration form. So that will be the separate class for the registration form. So if you go there, what would be our test scenarios? So scenarios would be, we'll fill up this form. So we'll fill up the first name, last name, then email. There's no phone number, is not required. And then we'll select the course. So we'll select Selenium automation, and then we'll select how you know about us. So we'll select the Facebook option, and then finally we'll click on registered. So after we click on registered, it's supposed to show a thank you message, some of the text message that's it's submitted, and thanks for the submission. We'll confirm that part. So that's the total our test case scenario. So in this whole test case for this application, we have two pages. One is the registration form page, and another one is automation, the practice page, right? So we'll have two different classes, and every class for as per the page, and every class will put the element. For this practice page, we'll have all the elements, the required elements related to our test scenario, and we'll create the methods or function, and then we'll move to the we'll do the same thing for a registration form, and then we'll create a test spec file where we're going to call import both classes and also related test method, and we'll write the actual test cases on test spec file. Okay, so that will be the pretty much the overall idea for our our test cases based on page object model design. Okay, so let's go to our VS Code. So here is our VS Code. What we are going to do, the first, you are going to create a folder, like underneath your example. So here, create a folder, give a name, page objects. So don't worry about this page object one, this is another project, but I'm going to create a new page objects folder. Okay, so here you're going to create a new folder. So give a name, page objects, right? And in this page object folder, we're going to create our classes that belongs to different pages. So first we'll give a name. Inside this, we'll create a spec file. Let's create a file, new file. Here, what's the first page would be? It's a practice page, right? So give a name, practice. So here we're going to give a name, create a file. It's a practice.js. Okay, and for other one we'll create another one. So let's put the first this one, the practice page. So here, how to now we're going to create a class for practice page where all the belongings, testing belongings will be here. So just simply to create a class, what do you need to do? Just write class, give the name of the class. I will give a name, say, you know what, just one more, so just practice, just rename it to practice, give a name page. So it's easily we can find out, okay, this is the class related with the practice page. So give a name to write a class, just simply your keyword would be class, then it's the same name you have for your page. So same practice page, so class practice page, and then bracket, simply your class has been created. And use the IntelliJ, Cypress IntelliJ. So to do this, make sure you put the Cypress IntelliJ code so that it can recognize, automatically give you suggestion all the Cypress command. Okay, so reference types equals to Cypress. So now inside this class, since we're going to put all the belongings, I mean all the web elements and related method over here, so it means we're going to call those methods in our actual test spec file. So to call that, we have to, it means we have to import this packet, this class, the practice page class. So how to import it? So to import any class, you have to make sure this class is also defined as a export. So you have to export your this class, you have to write very simple code. So you will say export at the very end, export, then default, and then your class name. So same class name. So it means this class is now enabled to export. So any other class, any other test cases, or any other test spec file can import this class. So it means all the properties inside this class, like any method, object, you can import from this class directly to other spec in the same project. Okay, so now let's create the our method. So the first, for every elements, every testing elements, we're going to create a method, right? So first let's create a method, I would say, and we're going to create a simply static method, so that directly, if you have a programming idea, so this, if you have a method is static method, or any properties of a class is static, so you can call directly those property, whether method or web element or variable, to any other class or any other spec file directly without any object reference. So you can so that's why I prefer to create all the method as a static method, other than you have to create an object of this class to your test spec file and then use the object reference to call the method. So either way, you can do that way, or you can follow my way, that just keep it simple, write all the method as a static method. So to create any method as a static, you have to write static keyword, and then first, what's the object? First object is our title, right? This title, we are going to make sure this title is visible, and it's exactly the same. The title is automation practice. This is the string, we are going to verify. So how we can do this? Let's look at this title. So this is the class. Okay, you can see there is a class attribute for this, and it's so I can use this attribute class title, right? So give a method name, say give a name get title, and always give a method name very meaningful, which is related with your specific element. Okay, so this is the method related to define your title of that page. That's why I give a name get title. So get title method, and then inside this, just locate the cy dot get look at the element. So element, it's I found that it's a class. I used the CSS selector for using a class, the dot, right? I hope you know it. You know, so if you don't know the page object, if you don't know the basic, all of the Cypress command, how to do this, how to define the Cypress command, how to create the CSS selector or spy the element, please watch from the very beginning all my tutorials the related with Cypress, then come to over here, otherwise you will not understand. Please do it. So I'm going to see what I did. So this will locate the spy the element. So, and after that, what I'm going to do, and I'm going to I will do some assertion also in the same. Some people say just get the element and then they return it, and then in the actual test spec file they do the real logic, just for the test related for the to define or assertion the test cases. So but what I prefer do all the logic in the same method in your page related class. So in my actual test cases I will call the method, nothing, I don't have to do it, because all the logic, everything is inside this over here already. So you will see the difference. Okay, so here it will locate the page title, and then I will get the text from this element, so that I can do some assertion. So to get the text from a web element in Cypress, we can't use directly text method. I have a separate video related with this, how to use the text method in Cypress. So we have to, and because this is text method is a jQuery method, so we have to invoke that method, we have to fire that method to use the text method. To do this, I'm going to call the invoke method, and invoke what? Text method, right? So I will say text method, invoke text method. Sorry, I need to text method, invoke text method, and then this is the format to use the text method. Then use any variable, so that this text method applied to this element, and whatever the text will find, it will put in a variable. So what's the variable name? So let's put the variable name. So I will put the variable name, say text1, right? And then so this is the text1, right? And then, oh sorry, I missed the fatpy or arrow function. So you have to give arrow function, and inside this, let's what do we expect? We expect, so this variable will hold the text of this element, so which should be the same like this, right? Which should be automation practice. So this one, right? So we're going to just match with this text, that is that the text is equals to automation practice. It will be simple test cases. So we'll say expect, we can use expect keyword, expect command, expect, we're going to match with text1. So text1 variable should equal to dot equal, right? It should equal, what should be equal? It should be equal, it should be equal to automation practice, right? So this is the, so since this text1 it will hold the value or text of this element, so which is automation practice should be equal. So that's my assertion I want to do. It's a very simple assertion, right? So let's, so that's all for this method. Okay, let's go to next element. So next element would be drop down option, I believe. So here we're going to have a drop down, so static drop down. So static drop down will select this selenium, right? So to do this, just spy this right? And it is started with in Cypress. If the static drop down have a select tag, started with the select tag, you can see started with the select tag, that time we can use a select function, or we can use the select command in Cypress that will automatically select whatever the option you say, right? So it has an ID, right? So to select this, I can use this ID, okay, to select this box first. So let's create another method, static, static. So I would say give a name of the method get drop down option, get drop down option, and then this is the method. So what's the spider element? Get, it was ID, right? So for the ID we'll say this is the locator, okay, for this drop down box. And here we're going to use the select command to select any option or any value from the static drop down. So if you don't know how the static drop down works in Cypress, please watch my other video. I have another video, separate video, how the drop down option like static and dynamic drop down works in Cypress. So I'm not going to explain over here, right? So please watch that if you don't know. So we're using a select command, and after that, so what would be the select command? Select command, you have to pass the argument. What would be the argument we're looking for? We're looking for Selenium, right? So copy the Selenium option, right? And there is a value property, so we can use the value is option 1. So first is pass the argument, what do you want to select? So we want to select Selenium. So should select it will select the Selenium option from this element, right? From this drop down option. And then we can pass some assertion, do some assertion. We can say should, and then we'll say should have value. We saw that it has a value. You can see for Selenium it has a value property or argument. It's a value, it's a the value of the value argument is option 1. So we can use the value argument over here. We can say should have value, should have value. You can see over here should have value. What should have the value? The option 1, right? So option 1 value or properties have this Selenium. So that's the way it will reconfirm or will do the assertion part. Okay, very simple. So that's all that would be the logic for this selecting Selenium option and also do the assertion. Next would be we'll go for the dynamic one. So dynamic over here in this box we're going to type Canada and we'll select the Canada. So this is called dynamic drop down option. So to do this, so first look at this element. Where is the it has an ID too, ID. You can see this ID, you can use your crop path also to confirm that. So it's an ID, right? So you can paste the value of the ID and you can see it's one element matching and it's select this one. So this is a unique element. So this way you can also verify element whether it's find a unique one or multiple ones. Okay, so we'll use this locator to locate this box, right? And here, so give a name static. So we'll say search country. So since it's we'll search a country, so I give a method name search country, and then give a name. This is okay. So now look at this element, the search box. We know that it was a it was an ID, so we can paste the value of the ID, right? And then what do we want to do? We want to type in this box, right? So let's use the type command. And what do you want to type? Say like, let's say type can. So if you type can, let's see what shows. can, and it shows, you know, some other countries too. So but from there we're going to select the Canada. Okay, how we can do this? So this is the dynamic example of an input box, right? So we'll type can, and then from there we're going to select our the country, it's Canada. So to do this, so let's if you type can, right, it shows all the list of some results. So let's spy the list of result. Type once again. Let's remove this guy, right? Scan. So you can see, and then let's find a result. Static drop down. Okay, oh, this is static. Okay, come over here. Let me so you have to find out the you know, the common locator for all the result it shows. Okay, so let me see if I can find it here. This is a little bit tricky for the you know, dynamic drop down to look at the dynamic drop down result. Let's select this way. You can see it will shows. Okay, it will show. It's since it's a hidden all the result, because it's a result shows, you know, on a runtime your script run, you know, so that's why it's all the result. It's a hidden. So you can see now. You can type once again. You can see here is the code. Okay, here is the you know, HTML code that's highlight all the result, right? So here, from here, we're going to find out one of the common you know, locator. So ID, you can use, probably there's a class. Okay, UI menu, and then let's here is the thing. You can see each and every result. For every result it shows a 5 result, right? If let's try again, it shows a 5. So 1 2 3 4 5 result, right? So for each and every 5 result, it's create a runtime element. You can see, and all the elements, 1, and this is the second, 2, third, fourth, you know, fifth. For all the elements, it has a common class. You can see UI menu item, right? That's the common class. And from there, UI menu item. So you can see, though all the result, the suggestion, it shows each and every suggestion, it has a common class. It's called UI menu item. So you can, so and we can put this, you know, the class as a locator, and you will see it shows 5 elements matching. It means it shows all the result is here. So all the 5 elements it shows there, right? So you can see all the 5 elements. So all the suggestion it shows. So from there we can, so it is a group of, you can say it is a group of locators. So this one locator, it shows 5 elements, and from there we can select, you know, the one will extract the text. So each and every, you can see each and every element, each and every suggestion, the result it shows, it has a text. Like this one is America, this is a Canada, so we're going to select Canada. So each and every, from each and every element, so we can traverse from this group of this group locator from there, and we can extract the text from the first element, and we can match that text with our expected text. Is that a text is matched with Canada? If yes, then we'll select this one. If we'll click this one, select it means is click. So if I click, it will select the Canada. If it's not, we'll keep running the loop. That's the way we can do the dynamic selection. Okay, so we'll use this locator, the class locator. Okay, I hope you understand. If it's not, please watch my the separate video related with the you know, the static and dynamic drop down, how to handle in Cypress. So here we'll type this, right, and after that we'll say, we'll select the group of element which it shows the all 5 suggestion, 5 result. So it was based on class this, and after that we'll say in the Cypress, you know, it has, they have each command to traverse on an array. So it's like a group of element. It means, you know, it is an array. In one locator it has a 5 object, so it means it's an array, right? In one array it has a 5 object. So we'll traverse in array. To traverse in an array in Cypress we have a each function. So each, for all those command how this works, you know, I have it all separate video. So please start from the scratch. Don't jump on this page object pattern, you know, example. You will not understand, because if I want to explain those this all the commands how it works, you know, it's all the tutorial is gonna be huge. Our main objective over here to see the implementation, the use case of page object model in Cypress, right? So anyway, so I'm going to use each model, and then we're going to use, you can see how the each works. So I will use one of the, right, so here is you know, the each E1, it means, you know, this is the list, or you can say array of Cypress, and it follows indexing, it's which is started from the 0, and E1 is the object. So it's like a variable, you can say. So from this list, when it's traverse each and every element, the value of the every element will hold by this E1. So E1 is like working as a variable, right? And after that we have to give a arrow function, right? In this arrow function, make sure you give the closing bracket, right? I think this is going to be here. Hold on, oh, this is the one. Okay, this is the one, right? And here now we're going to, you know, so E1 is holding the value of each and every element from following the index from this list. So we'll put our logic here. We'll say if this E1, so it's better to use $sign also, the $sign. So if this E1, it means the first element, it will have the first element, and extract the text method using the text method. So the text method will apply the first element, which will get the, you know, text from the first element, right? We're going to say if this equals to what we're looking for, Canada, right? If the, you know, the text from the element equals to Canada, then we'll select it. Then let's select it, right? So we'll say Cy dot, since this works as a wrapper, so we're, we'll say wrap, sci.wrap, and then the element will match the Canada text, so we'll select that element, wrap at that, then click function. Right, I hope you understand that. Okay, so again, I can't explain in details too much about how each function works and all this, because this is not the class to explain you the different Cypress command. Okay, so it will then click the Canada one. So here we're missing some of the closing bracket, I believe. Okay, I think here, so this is the one closing for this, and then this is the one is for this, and then for this is the one is this. So we're missing. I think I found it. I think I put one extra bracket here. Okay, so that's all about the dynamic drop down selection for country Canada. Okay, so after that we're move on. I think that's all we're going to do in this page, and then we'll move to our another page. It's called a registration form up there. So if you notice that, so since this to going to that page, this registration form, this element is still, it's a part of this practice page. So for the selection of this element, the registration form, we're going to also type over here. And just remember, this is a hover event. So if you hover your mouse to this element, the course registration is, then it's display this to drop down option, and from there we're going to, so unless you hover, it is a hide. So we have to use the in a hover in Cypress, it's like it's a little bit different than unlike a Selenium or other automation technique. So you have to force to open to show this your hidden elements, then you can select one of them. Okay, so to do this, and I have a separate tutorial, watch other tutorial related with the hover event in Cypress, and then you will understand. Okay, so let's first, this is the spy this element. Spy this element, and then registration. So here what we can use, I think I can use course registration, right? So inside it has course registration, so we're going to select so this is course registration, and inside this what we're going to select, option. What's the option? There's a two, right? One is registration form. That's our objective, to select this registration form. To do this, and this element, it's hidden under this course registration element. So in Cypress we can manipulate your DOM. So it means you can force your DOM to make it true. So to do this, we can force, we'll say, let's create another method. We'll say static. We'll just, let's give a name, click on, I would say reds, click on reds form, it's a registration form, and then right, and then let's so our objective is to select the registration from the hidden element, which is part of hover event. To work on a hover event, we can say, let's we'll find out that the element we're looking for to click, which is the registration form. So we'll spy that element, CY contains, what's the contain, its content is registration form. right? The registration form we wanna select. So we'll say it means we want to click the registration form, that part again, right? So this registration form we're going to click, then it will go up there. So it means it has a value registration form, you can see. So I say CY contains this and click, it will be forced true because this element it's hidden. So to show the hidden element or to apply any action in a hidden element like click action, we can force it in Selenium, I mean in Cypress. So to do this you can use this command click, and inside the click you can pass the force command. You can say force and it's true, the value would be force. Then this click command will be applicable this element which is even hidden by force, that's the meaning. Okay, and then we'll confirm. So what happened if you click on there, what happened? It will go to another page where it has this. How are we gonna confirm that it's land to this registration form page? We can verify through the URL. So URL will have a form, the word or text, you can say. So I will verify the URL. So we'll say site.url, site.url, and then we'll say URL function, and then we'll say should include, what should include? It should include the registration form, right? Registration, or either you can say either way you can say form or you can say registration. Let's put, or you can put the all. So let's put the registration. Okay, so the new URL should include the registration word. So that's the way we'll able to verify, okay, it's landed to the new URL or registration page. Okay, so that will be the way to move on another page. Let's save it. Now let's create a test cases. So we're going to create a test case here in our under the examples folder. Right here we're going to create a test case, a new file, and then let's give a name. I would say, since the application name is code in box, so we'll give a code in box. Let's add the prefix word is called test, so that JS file, so that we can differentiate this is the test case script or spec file. Okay, so and here first we're going to import, right? So let's use the IntelliJ here, and then first things you have to import. So all this method over here related to different element and logic we're going to use call in our actual test spec. So this is our actual test cases or test spec file, right? So import those. So you have to import first to use those or call those method. You have to import this class, right? So this is your practice page class. So to do this we are going to say import. How to import? Import keyword and then import key1. So you import from where? So we have a import what? The class name, practice page, and then from where? From, and then you have to say between this single quotation, from where? So from, so since where this this practice page class is inside a page object folder, so it means your test case spec file and your page object class have to be in under the same root. So it should be under our same root is example. So this practice page should be out of this page object. If it's out of this page object folder, it will be under the same root, like under the same example root. So since there is a one folder, so we'll put a one dot to come out from the page object folder to be in the same root both is practice page class as well as our test spec file. So that's why to come out, if it's a two folder, it would be two dot. So it depends on how many folder where it's your a class is located. So it's inside a page object folder, it's a one inside the folder. So that's why I put a one dot and then slash, and then what's the folder name? Folder name page object. So this is the folder name, and then another slash, so it will be out of this page object, and then your class practice page, you can see over here, right? So that's the way your this class will be imported directly in this test spec file, so that you can directly call any method from that classes, right? So import this one, and after that now since we're following Mocha, Mocha framework, so in a Mocha framework, as you know, it's defined by two part. One is a describe block and another one is it block. Describe block work as like your test suite, and it block work like as your test cases. Like every test cases will be have an individual it block. So we'll have a describe block, right? So let's type the describe block, describe, and then this describe block will have two argument. One would be the what's like the title, you can say I would say you can say test suite. So it's, as I said, it works as a suite, and then it will have another part, it's called function, and then right, very simple. Right, and then in there you can, now you will have to put all of your it block, right? So inside the describe block, all of your it block would be inside the describe block, because this is like test suite, right? So let's put our test cases, right? So to do this, we're going to say create a it block it, and as you know, it will have also two part. It block also have a two argument. One is your like test cases, the title of the test cases, you can say since it's a test cases related practice page, I would say practice page test case, right? Practice page test case, and the same another one would be, another argument would be the function, right? And then function like enormous function. So inside the practice page you will put your code, the actual test case related code. So what's the first thing? So first thing we're going to call this get title, right? So how to do this? So we can just now, since all the methods in practice class is static, so we can directly call those method by the class name. So class name dot method name, right? So you can see here. So that's the easiest way, using the benefit of use the static method, other than we have to create an object of this class up here and then use the object reference to call your method. You can do that way, but I think so this is easier, much easier. So use this dot, and over here get title, we have nothing to do. Here it's very simple, you just call the method from this, because all the test logic already I wrote over here inside the method, like verify this the assertion. So it's everything is, all the logic is already done over here. So actual test case is very neat and clean. It just you call the method related, right? So first one this, and then similarly the next one would be get drop down, right? get drop down. So here practice page dot get drop down method, and then again practice page. What's the next one? It is a search country, right? Dot search country. It's a very simple. And the next one would be click registration form, right? And then practice page class name dot function name, right? It's very simple. So pretty much looks pretty good for the practice page test cases. All the function is related has been called. Now one thing it's missing is that the first thing we have to do, we have to launch our site, where our URL, we haven't put anything regarding the URL. So to do this we can use before hook. So let's create here, as you know, we can write in our Cypress.json. So in our Cypress.json file we put our URL. You can put this way, right? Create an environment variable, and inside the environment variable section, you can put your URL. There is a key and value. So key is I give a URL, and the value is the actual URL, okay, which is the codeinboxautomationlab.com. But our landing page URL, you can see the practice page, which is a codeinboxautomation.com/practice. So we can add any prefix word in your URL with your environment URL, with your actual URL. We can add any other prefix word in your in your actual test cases. So let's see that how we can do this. So first, to launch it, let's create another method over here in our CodeInbox in our practice page, because first we have to load the page, right? So let's create another. So I would say practice static. So I would say load homepage. I give a name, load homepage method, and inside over here what I'm going to say, so this is the visit. This is the command for visit any website, any URL, right? So, and the command, I hope you know it, Cypress dot, and then if you want to use environment, since we create an environment variable over here, you can see we create an environment variable, and here is a key and value. So we have to call first environment variable evn, right? So Cypress dot evn, right? And then inside this evn I have to pass the key. What is the key? Key is URL, right? So but we have to land on this practice page. So to be in the practice page, our full URL this, but our environment URL value is up to like this, codeinboxautomationlab.com, not practice. So we have to concatenate this practice word with this command. So in environment, from the environment I call the URL variable, and then plus I can do pass this string, the post the remaining part of your URL practice, right? So this way it will call. So here it will call, so visit, it's visit, load the page from your environment variable where you have a URL. So it will be replaced by the value of the URL, codeinboxautomationlab.com, then plus practice. So it will be full URL would be codeinboxautomationlab.com /practice. So it will be actually it will land to the direct to the practice page, right? That's the way you can do it. And we can do some assertion here also. Let's see site.url, and we're gonna confirm that it should have one of the include, it should include, sorry, should not the name, it should include, I would say what we can say when it's land up there, it should include code in box word, okay, or code in box automation lab. Let's put the first part, code in box. It should have code in box word in the URL, right? So that's the way you can confirm it's land to the right page, land to the right application. Okay, so now this home page method have the all of the command related to load the page. So I can call this method in my actual test case, right? In my actual test case, let's close this. So my test case over here, it's the same thing we can do over here. Home practice, we can call this method over there, or you can use the before hook. Let's see, I mean, it's very simple, I can do over here, but let's see the use case of the before hook, how to use the before hook. Okay, so to use the before hook, I believe you already know it. If you don't know it, please watch my individual separate video related with that, using the hook in Cypress. So to use the hook, you have to write the hook right after the describe block, right inside the describe block, before any it block. So you will say before, and then since I have a only one test case I'm going to use over here, and only one time I'm going to launch, so I will use the before hook. But if you need to again relaunch the page, so then you can use for every test cases, for every it block, then you can use before each block. So I'm going to use before hook, right? Just a before hook. It will be launched one time, at the beginning of the all the test cases, the script when it's run. So before, I'll type function, right? So before function or before hook, and then here I will just just call this method dot, not code in box, what's the method name, load home page, right? So it has the code related to load the page, right? And also one more thing is like the comma at the end of the line, it's optional in the JavaScript, so whether you can keep it or you can just remove it. You can see I put it over here, but let's remove it. You will see there is no error. It's optional in JavaScript. Okay, so now that's the way it will load our page, and then it will start at our actual test cases, verify the title, then drop down, then search keyword country for this dynamic drop down, and also click on that page, right? Let's save it and then run it. Okay, to run it, so npm, I believe that you know it, like I have a custom command also I created. If you haven't seen my previous tutorial, so please watch those, otherwise you will not understand over here, because I'm not going to details explain over here, but still I'm just going to show you. In my package, you can see I have a custom script, like to load this script. I have it to load the test runner. I have a sci open. This is the custom script to load the test runner, right? This is the custom script to load the dashboard. So I'm going to use the custom script to load our test runner. The sci open I'm going to use, right? So npm run, sorry, where is it? So here npm run, then sci open. It should load the test runner. So it's loading the test runner. Okay, you can see the page object, our folder, and this is a one JS file or class file, which is practice page, and where is our test case? So our test case is over here, code in box test, right? So let's run this. Let's see. Loading the page. You see, it's first called the before hook. You see it's loading the page from where? Before all. So it means it's calling the before hook function. It's load the page. You can see on the right side it's loaded the page. It's a little bit slow. There we go. Looks like all pass. Okay, so the first is loaded the page through the before all. It means through the before hook, you know, so it's expected at the code inbox. On the URL it has a code inbox, it's assertion pass, and then it's called the page title. You can see on the right side it shows the reflection. Select and it's get the text, is match the text equals to automation practice, and then third one is select the static drop down the Selenium. You can see, and then it's it has the value option 1 underneath the Selenium, and then you know the next one it's select the search box, right? This is a search box. Type the can, and then it's find all the 5 different suggestion or result, you know, after you search the can word, and then it's find you know, it contains the so it's get this one, and it's also, you know, select registration. Okay, get this one, and then and then it's select, let me see, oh okay, can, and then find this one, and then it goes to the next page. Okay, it goes to the next page. I just want to see that isn't it select the Canada. I think it does. Okay, yes, it should, otherwise it would give us a error. Let me show the code once again. Practice page, and then okay, yes, grab, okay, click on, okay, click on the Canada. Yes, it does. So we have that. So it, but it's happened, you know, very quick, and as well as, you know, it's a hidden, or it's not a hidden, but it's a give you the result, you know, on the runtime. So that's why it's not showing, but otherwise it would give us a, you know, error. So it type, and then now this is the result, and then, you know, definitely, and next would be, was like we select the registration form. You know, we click the force, use the force command in the registration form text to go to the registration page. So it's loaded the page. You can see the new URL, and it has the registration, you know, the prefix postfix on the URL, right, which is expected is match. So that's the, you know, you can say the use case of the page object design in Cypress, right? So we have still one more page is remaining. So this registration page will do it. So but for now, you know, this is this video I'm going to close over here. Just stay tuned. There will be another video where we'll see this how we can create another page. It's gonna be the same way. We'll create another class for the registration page, registration this form, and we fill up, create a different method to fill up all this different field or element, and then we'll submit it, and then we'll verify. There will be thank you toasted message. We'll verify that we confirm that it's a thank you message it shows, and then at the end we'll also run our report. Like we have a you know, Cypress awesome report. So we'll run our report, and we'll see the result and in a Cypress awesome report. So that will be the part. So stay tuned, you know, wait for the next video, and you know, we'll see you on the next tutorial. Have a good one. Bye bye.